Hey guys. What are we at today? March 10? March 10, 2016. Um, oh, so some things I feel should be kind of expressed. And at first I was like, I don't know if it's appropriate for me to express, but I do feel that there are people that are just really in need of advice right now at this time. And coming from somebody who's experienced a lot in terms of energies, spirituality, my DNA being upgraded, and whether it's for people that follow the Bible, whether they follow New Age systems, whether they're looking to learn more about who they are, whether they've been part of any community work, organizations, substance abuse organizations, women's abuse, youth and toddler abuse, anything of that nature, okay? So this may apply for you if you understand and accept the message that I have to bring forth. Um, I do, because I did shift some things around. I basically hammered and put up on the wall all my totems that are framed, except for my bat. This one has not gone up yet. And I'm going to place this guy over here on this corner. So right there. Yeah, that's where I'm going to put him, because I got all the other creatures, my friends are all around in each corner. So this one's going to go right there. Anyways, there's my bat. And I got the baby eggs, snake baby eggs, to fulfill your projects, guys, okay? So, before I get anything started right now, I just wanted you to know that I come with love. So I'll start this off with love, and I will end this with love, okay? That is my intention. There's a lot of misunderstandings when I come forth and I explain certain things about myself and I talk about myself. I guess I come across a certain way and a certain way and a certain way, and people that have really tried to get to know me, they have come to that conclusion that there's many layers of me, many different faces of me. And I think and I feel that most humans are that way, if not all, but they are not aware of it. Um, So it could be that that's why I feel for most people. I feel for all walks of life. Hence why I'm delivering this message. It's not that I pity you, it's that I actually feel for you. Okay, and it's because I understand I've had to experience something like that you're experiencing, or, because I myself, growing up, I reached points where I was like ready to leave. I was packed up my luggage and literally ready to leave like 3 years ago, 2014. That's it, I was done. I was gonna go travel to Europe. 2013 to 2014, I was gonna go stay in Europe, travel to Europe, you know, and like stay there. And I've met women that work that are from Europe, like a woman in particular from Poland, originally from Poland. She came to Canada less than 10 years ago. She still travels to Europe, and she herself says that it is by far a lot easier for a woman who is authentically going through home abuse to be given assistance and a home to live in free of abuse by the government, because they put women first there. Now, I live in Canada, and a lot of you assume because I live in Canada, I live in like the Antarctic, and like there's no um, criminals here, or there's nothing like that. And I'm here to tell you that is by far not true. I actually live much more closer to the New York State than I do in other areas of Canada, okay? So where I am is closer to the New York State than anywhere else in Canada. That's where I'm located. I'm not literally next to the New York State, but I'm a lot closer to the New York State. So, um, Like, if you look me up on the map, I'm much more closer to the US than other areas of Canada. And I just feel like there's so many of you where you're like ready to leave, and like for example, Canada, I've seen in my own self, there's lots of women's empowerment groups, organizations, and let me tell you something, as a country that states that this is a woman's rights for women, it's not true. It's not true at all. I've seen it my own self. Women hardly have rights here. Okay, what do you consider a right? It depends on what you consider what a right is. Um, for example, I've seen with my own eyes, if a woman gets raped, you know how many reports go unresolved? They don't do anything. The police don't do anything, or you know, it's it's very exaggerated, to be quite frank. It's very, very exaggerated, and this is coming from someone who has experience. I've had many years. I don't know if you know, but I have many years of experience um, with people, with men, young men who have been to prison, who have gotten out of prison, and they're trying to change their life, trying to get jobs, you know, um, whether they went to prison for hitting a woman, whether they went to prison for drug abuse, or anything at all, whether like their parents weren't around and they ended up being around the wrong friends and influences, and they just got into trouble because they felt that they wanted to protect their brothers in the group and something, and they got into the wrong thing. I've seen a lot, I've experienced a lot. And a lot of times when they say you have a right, you really don't have a right. So I guess what I'm trying to say at is my entire channel has been based on helping people gain and rearrange and build up morals, okay? You need morals before anything else in this world, because it helps you build up a solid foundation for yourself in your future. So, for example, let me use myself as an excuse, and then I'm going to get to you guys, is if you're someone who lives in an area, for example, the United States, I know so many people from the United States that they want to get the heck out of there. So many. I know one person who has actually accomplished that. She left California, and she lives in Europe now, and she lives near the farms and water, and she's much happier because she doesn't have that pressure of the United States, whatever it is and stuff, and she just didn't like the order there and all that. But like I said, if you're somebody that is spiritual and you feel a high calling to change something, and you want to so desperately leave, you can't leave just like that, okay? And nothing is going to come out of the sky and to save you and take you somewhere else. I'm telling you from experience, guys, I have gone through DNA upgrades. I have gone through 48 hours of a spiritual vortex lifting my body up. And other people in these so-called tribal and mystery schools, they knew about this, okay, because I had to be there to help them, because the teacher over there didn't even know what was going on. So these so-called chariots, these spiritual chariots, they're going to change your energy body, and they're going to change your DNA, your outlook, the way you view things in life, your moral compass, your inner immune system. That is what is going to be changing for you. And so when that is changing for you, you are given that privilege, that direction to change your life. So if you're given something, now it is in your control, it is in your hands to do something about it. Something is given to you and you don't do something about it, your life will not change. So like I said, that is your time to slowly build up your new moral compass. For example, if you see that your life, you keep attracting men that are abusive. If you're a man, you keep attracting women who are abusing men. If you're a man and you didn't have a father and you keep attracting women who are single who have children and you don't want that, you've realized, I've played my part. I thought this is what I wanted, but you know what? I'd rather be with someone who I can have a family with. I'm tired of attracting this. Well, this is your time where you build up your moral compass, because your energy body is changing, your morals are changing, your life is changing, and you got to start up from the ground up. In that meantime, while everything is changing, because these inner shifts are taking place, slowly but surely your outer world will change, okay? So for example, for years, I have been looking for a community, a workplace, an organization, government approved, that shares my values, my morals, respect, diversity, and I went everywhere and I couldn't find it. But because I stuck to my integrity and believed in myself and my morals, I eventually just found it, okay? So you gotta understand, if you're somebody who is willing to relocate, you want to move, and you think that something is going to come outside of yourself, pick you up, put you in a ship, and move you out, I'm sorry, it's not going to happen that way. Your old self, your old energy body is being lifted up and taken away, and a new one is coming in. So you got to build that up. So for example, if you want to leave the country, because there's a lot of Americans that are coming to Canada now, and unfortunately, like I said, because of the whole whatever has been happening with ISIS and stuff, the Canadian government has been really tight in opening up people from the Middle East and other places of the world to come. Of course, from the United States, it's a lot easier than there. But I had to go through hell and back just to get those 2/3 of Armenians from Syria to come to Canada, okay? And in the recent months, I met my mom's childhood friends from elementary school because they found each other, because I worked really hard to get them here. And my uncle, like, he has them at their house. He has friends from their childhood at their house staying there, and, So like I said, if that's something that you want, if you're tired of living in the so-called ghetto, if you're tired of living in the state that you live in the United States, after you build up your moral compass, take out that which doesn't serve you. You gotta literally write this all down. You gotta write it down and say, this is not serving me, that's not serving me, women like this, men like this, friends like this, things about yourself, personalities about yourself. You have to understand, if you want to live a liberated, good life, it's not going to be free. You have to work. In religion, in spirituality, in life, even in atheism, you need to work. You got to work to change your life around. And you know what? Eventually you're going to get so bored. You're going to get so bored. But that's why you need to work. If not full-time, get a part-time. And make sure that part-time job is a very secure workforce where they're giving to you just as much as you are giving to them. Just like a relationship. Just like a relationship you want. Don't get into relationships that are not serving you. It's only going to dilute and take away from you. It's going to distract you. It's going to take away from you. So if you want to leave the United States and you want a better life, okay, you're going to have to take a look. For example, if you want to come to Canada. Okay? If you want to come to Canada, you're going to have to go on the Canadian government website. Because like I said, there's not going to be anything outside of yourself that brings you, that does this for you. Once your energy body's changed, once your moral compass is changed, and you've built up your morals and your values, that's when you look up the Canadian government and you look for a good job. You look for a good job, a good company that's going to give you, okay? Because I'm telling you right now, if you are from the United States and you want to come to Canada and get a good job, okay, like a part-time job, full-time job, whatever it is that you find is fulfilling for you, and you get it, you'll get here in a month. After you've communicated with the job and you've gotten the job and whatnot, you can get here in a month. and you actually will have a better life, will be better supported than I as a Canadian citizen will, okay? Like, you will be taken care of better. They will, make sure you're doing okay, because they want, the government, the Canadian government wants, you have to understand, there's many provinces in Canada. Provinces is basically a state. In the United States, you guys call it states. We call them provinces. The provinces here, other than where I am right now, they need hardworking, intelligent business owners, people that can build up their companies. You don't have to necessarily get into a government organization. You don't have to get into the government, but getting into a company will bring you into stability, and you can save up money so that in the next 10 years, in the next 15 years, in the next 20 years, you can live that lavish lifestyle what it is that you want. But it's not going to happen right now. I myself know this. If you go watch my other videos, this legacy that I talk about, that I'm leaving here, I'm leaving a legacy behind. Okay? Me saying that I'm the queen, I'm leaving a legacy behind. And my legacy is part of this, but this is not the whole entire thing. Me talking about in the springtime, mid-springtime, to the summer, and maybe even the fall, early fall, that I'm going to the Lions Gate up north, the resort, and doing readings there, and doing retreats there, because I'm still doing it. I'm going to be doing it, because my spiritual self is telling me to go there. My higher self, and that promise that I gave to my father before he died, that I would be doing business there with him, is calling me to go there, okay? That doesn't mean... It takes steps, okay? So, for example, I don't own that retreat. I don't own that resort. However, if this is a goal that you have in mind for yourself, this is something that you want. You feel you deserve to live a king's life because you're so spiritually advanced. You have to take the steps, okay? So my step right now is by doing that. I'm going to be doing that. That doesn't mean I own it, but you got to take that step. So the divine, these angels, they will guide you to do something. And with steps, because there are laws on this planet, in this universe, that which you send out returns to you, and you build with it. If you're not taking actions towards your callings, if you expect something outside of yourself to do something for you, nothing is going to change. You take steps, you take actions, and you build up with it in time. So that, like I said, my legacy, my building blocks, what it is that I really have to leave here behind, this is just the stages of me getting there, will be taking 10 to 15 years. So this is only the beginning. I'm still in the beginning phases, okay? So for most of you men or women, if you're in your 30s right now, you're not going to be seeing the fruits of your labors, of your true higher self calling, your true religion, your true spirituality, your true path, your purpose, until the next 10 to 15 years. Just as I am on this path with you, it's going to take me 10 to 15 years to really bring forth that legacy, that which I am bringing behind. Like I said, these are my building blocks, and I'm doing this with you to teach you how to do it for yourself. And when you succeed in 10 to 15 years, with absolute love, I will join you. Okay? You can keep my word on this. I will join you. I'm 20. I will be 29 in May. We're in March now. I've got 2 months to turn 29. So if I'm saying 10 to 15 years, I'll be around 39 to 44 years old to see my fruits come back to me based on what it is that I'm leaving behind. So if you're in your 30s, then by the time you see your fruits come in, you see your real true calling come in, it's going to take you, you're going to be in your mid to late 40s. Sorry, you're going to be, depending on how old you are now, maybe even early 50s. Okay? So if you have these grand visions and imaginations, it's not that it's wrong. It's just you're still here. And that's not wrong either, because I'm here with you, and I am going to support you, okay? So You got to get on those government websites. If you want to go to Europe, you got to get on their government websites. You got to get yourself a job. I knew a guy. This was 2009, 2010. I knew a guy. He left what is now known as Armenia now. And he successfully moved to Paris. He traveled to Paris. He lived there. He got a job. And he told me that he was planning on doing it for a while, and he successfully did it by getting himself a job. So you have to understand, if you want to change your life, you got to get a job, okay? You can't just leave this country. You can't just go to your wilderness and start scratch, or you can't just go to your Garden of Eden and start scratch. Without your headgear, without your armor, without your sword, without your protection. If you walk into a war, for example, and everybody has weapons and guns and knives and shields, and you're there bare with no shoes, nothing, you're going to get killed. Even if your intentions is not to fight, you're going to get killed. So this is what that's like too. Spiritual gear. Your spiritual gear is you got to be aware and take actions about this. You got to be enlightened and just look it up. Look it up, and you got to call in. Just like you go hunting for a job, what do? You build up your resume. You build up your resume. You put in your resources. You make a cover letter. And then you send out as much resumes as possible, right? 10, 15, 20. You look up the company. You look up their morals, their values, and you apply. So when you go on these European government websites, because you got to do it like that, you want to be approved by the government. You don't want to just get a working visa and then 2 years later you go back to your ghetto in the United States. You want something where you're there and you stay in this new country and you build up in this new country. So you go to Canadian websites and like I said, these immigrants, they're getting better jobs. They're getting better positions. And again, it's not how much money you make, it's what you do with the money. And they get homes to stay in, okay? So, and it takes a month from the United States. After being approved by a job, it takes a month if you get approved. But look into these companies, apply as much as you can, know what your skills and your abilities are, and like I said, Canada is huge. Canada is the second biggest country in the entire world. And they are looking for entrepreneurs. They are looking for people to start their own businesses. And they're looking for people to build up their own companies, okay? So if you want to leave your country, you have to do it like this, okay? And then you build up with it. And then if you realize after the age 40 years old, after the age 45, after the age 50, you've done everything you possibly can and you've saved up your money, then you can go in the wilderness. You can move up even more north. You can go live in cottage life near the water. Do you get what I mean? Slowly but surely, okay? Everything is going to take time. With experience, you grow more, you change, it shifts you. For example, a few of my uncles, okay, so they immigrated to Canada. They were rebellious. When they were in their 20s, in their teenagers, they were very rebellious. They came to Canada, they were rebellious. They were mechanics, because my mom had 5 brothers. They were mechanics, like entrepreneurs, food owners, food business owners, like franchises, musicians, okay, and they were freaking rebellious. They would get invited to events, party events, community events, and they would start havocs. They would start fights with people, and all hell would break loose because of them, because of their fiery spirit. But then once they reached a certain age of their life, and they would work in the city and save up. They were tired of their old ways. That rebelliousness, that the more life experience they got, the more of that, I deserve this, I deserve that. It started to fade away, and they realized how you really do build your life. You get what you put out. So then, from the city life, the Torontonian city life, they moved up to like Orillia. Orillia is way more up north. It's like 2-3 hours, about that, more north. It's cottage life. They opened up like Bradford, Orillia. They opened up, mechanic shops there, basically in the middle of there. Like, I know there's like a casino. That's like the major scene there, and yeah, like that's about it. But they're living in the cottage with the lake there, and so it's healing, it's therapeutic. However, though, and it's much cheaper to live there. Toronto is so expensive to live. It's so expensive to have businesses and stuff, and things have changed. It used to be like $54,000 just to own a house. Now you can't get it. If you're gonna get a house in Toronto, it starts off with 1 million. And these are like shit homes, huh? Like 1960s, 1970s homes. But anyways, like I said, if they didn't live that life in that city, example, going back to you got to get a job. Now, I'm not saying it's exactly you got to go get a job in the city, but what I'm saying is you still got to get a job and save up. Because of that work that they put out there, they were entrepreneurs, they saved up money. That money that they saved up with allowed them to move up north in the so-called wilderness and build up their life there now that they are in the mid-ages. Well, they're a lot older now than the mid-ages, but when they moved there, they were in 40s and 50s. Late 40s, 50s, okay? So if you're in your 20s or your 30s now, it's not realistic to live in the wilderness if you don't have anything. Any solid foundation that's giving back to you, like a workforce or moral compass or people that you want to do this with and such things, okay? So you build up, and in time you will see the fruits of your labor come back to you. Okay, so like I said, right? If you're healthy, because that's the most important thing, your mind, your body, and your soul is the most important thing. You got to build that up. Eat right. Take care of yourself. Drink as much clean water as you can. Build up your moral compass. Your moral compass is so important. If you're living your life right now with people who have orgies, they don't care about each other. They treat each other like shit. Well, in the next 10 to 20 years, you're going to receive shit in life because you're surrounding yourself with people like this. They're not going to care about you. And the economy is getting worse. They hardly hire anybody full-time anymore. It's so difficult. And this is here in Canada. So if you're from the United States, I completely understand you. I don't live on government assistance. I don't have any physical disabilities, knock on wood. So I do what I believe is right. I deliver these messages to you. I accept payment for my readings. I go work. I work in a company. And I save. I don't go spending money like this. From time to time, I want to spoil myself, and I deserve to. But I don't go, like I said, I don't go out with friends. I don't go drinking out with friends. None of that stuff. And what does the universe do? It returns to me because I've built up this moral compass, and you got to build up with it. And it's not going to happen overnight, guys. Okay? So with absolute luck, here are the baby eggs to protect you and your path, okay? Because you're at the baby stages right now, just as I am. Okay? I too am. And you got the bat. Look up bat spirit message. I think that's coming forth right now. I'm not sure if there's baby egg, snake baby egg spirit message. You could look that up. But, that's all I can say, really. And if this message sits well with you, then I'm really glad. But you just have to know that nothing will be handed over to you. If you're getting spiritual guidance, spiritual messages for you to be somewhere else, then you got to do the work. You got to actually do the work. Get a job in the other country and build up with it. If you don't want to work in the long run in that company, that's fine, but you need money to save with. You need something. And even if you do come to Canada with money, you got to have a solid foundation protecting you so that they welcome you, because they don't want. Let me tell you something. They did a statistic, and I was told by someone who works in the immigration center in January, like I said, where I was in the Immigration Canada, January 11. They did a statistic this year alone, that 50% of Canadians have mental health issues. 50%! And they're all on government assistance. So the Canadians want hardworking people. Because what does that mean? That means 50% of them are not working. They're getting government assistance. Or they have, because there are jobs here. Like, for example, you'll see at the movie theater. There's a movie theater, Silver City, right across my house. And you'll see like disabled people working there and stuff, which is good. It's good because they have something to do, right? They have they have a job and stuff like that. But and like other places too, you'll see, and they're human. They deserve respect. But they're mentally aware, and so what I'm trying to say is there are people, that they don't work and stuff like that. But what I'm trying to say is, I'm not disrespecting people who have mental health issues or disabilities, but what I'm trying to say is the Canadian government wants people who are going to come in and build up their companies, or you start your own business, okay? So, and they give loans, and so I'm just highly suggesting you look into the government of Canada, or you look into the government of Europe, wherever it is that you want to move. Because I highly suggest it's either Canada or Europe. I don't suggest anywhere else on this planet. If you don't want to come to the province I'm in, Ontario, there's other provinces you can go to. I don't suggest Montreal because it's too damn expensive to live there, and if you don't speak French, they look down on you. It's a completely different lifestyle there. It's like Europe. They almost went, in the 90s, they almost cut out Quebec as its own country. But they did a voting and everything, and they said, no, we're just going to keep Quebec as that. So, maybe I'll link up a government website underneath. Maybe you could take a look at it at the website about immigrating, getting jobs and stuff. Because if you're so unsatisfied with your life in the United States, or you feel a revelation's coming that the world is going to end, or World War III is going to come and the United States is in the shits, then you got to do your prep work now. And you got to look into moving, and you got to look into getting jobs so that you're supported, so that you got finances coming in, so that you got a home here, okay? So, I wish you guys love. I wish you guys luck. And again, I'm here with love, alright? So, take care. Talk soon.